Ladies and gentlemen, chess lovers everywhere, welcome back to Phoenix Plays a Game. I am Phoenix. I am a chess expert, a risk master, and a fan of all things strategic, trying to get better at risk, chess, go, apparently golf now, and a whole bunch of other games. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little warm-up. If you want to play good, slow chess, you have to see tactics. And we do that by training both quick tactics and slow ones. We want to train our eyes and our reflexes to see tactics, and then we want to train our thinking so that we think nice and slow and methodically. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to do a 3-minute bullet exercise, and then we're going to start a survival slow run. We're going to mix it up. We're going to go fast, and then we're going to go slow. And, well, who can complain about that? So let's see what tactics we've got going on. We got a back rank mate. I got 3 minutes to get as many as I can correct. How about this one? That looks like pretty good. I'm a little slow. Whoops, I'm black. Wrong rook. White. I am white. What the heck? Why do I want to do that? Let's take that guy. Okay. How about I back rank again? And so we want to get to about 30, I think, before the timer runs out. I am black. One of the things I hate about puzzles, though, is that you switch colors a lot, you know? You can't grab the same color pieces all the time, and so you're not even sure what color you are sometimes. I know I want to go up the board, but it's not always obvious which way up the board is if you don't have the right pieces. You don't have the right... Ooh, can I do both? No? Okay, so I do have to do that first. Yeah, I thought maybe I could crash the queen in first, but no, could not. So now we're black, and we cut down on the file, and then can I take a rook? Yep, I can take a rook. And then how do I get out of this? Probably just a check, right? I don't see any reason why I have to do anything special here. That looks like it's winning. Okay, I actually don't understand that one fully. I don't know why I had to do that. I know why I wanted to. I just didn't know why I had to. So I had a queen there. Unfortunately, I did not see that any faster. But I did get that one pretty fast, I think. So how about we go and trap the queen? Can we trap a queen here? Bishop, no. No, how about knight? Can we trap it with a knight? Yeah, we can. Wow, that's a pretty... I've never seen that one before. Take that. That's pinned. Let's go check with the rook, and then we'll check with the queen. And darn it, see, I almost moved the wrong piece. Can we take that? Yes, we can. And then we have a weak piece, and then we're going to take that rook because the bishop is there. But then we go like check and take the bishop. And there you go. That's the kind of stuff you got to do. You want to be any good at chess, you got to definitely take that kind of thing on. The challenge of seeing the pieces quickly and seeing what you can take and what you can't take. Looks like I have a back rank mate, so nobody's protecting that rook because there's a back rank mate there. Can I go here? No. Can I go here? No. What do I have? Ooh, it doesn't look like I have much of anything. Oh, I've got a queen. I've got a baby queen coming. I think I block with the bishop. Yeah. Yeah. Block with the bishop. Promote to a queen. Oof. That was tough. I can take here and then take your bishop. Okay, I'll take your queen and I'll take your bishop. Thank you. So can we go here and in here? And then we can. And then I think I want to go here. Right? There. Oh, no. I wanted to push the other pawn first was the idea. What can I do here? I don't even see this one. I definitely don't. I got to move quick. Is it this? Yep. And then I believe it's going to be that and then that. No. Darn. Go like this. That's mate. I got 12 seconds left. I do want to try to get at least a 30, mainly because that's the number I just now saw in my head. So, okay, what's that one? Oh, that's a trap. Oh, man, I wanted to push that pawn. Okay, so in 3 minutes, I can do 26 puzzles. That's what we've learned. Now, these weren't particularly difficult. Some of those took me a lot longer to see. It's about observing the entire board very quickly. A lot of the puzzles that I miss are because I looked too closely at like one section of the board. Didn't notice there's some other defending piece somewhere else. Some of those simply took me a lot longer to kind of understand the theme. But you saw a lot of the ones that are like capture, 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 I could do fairly quickly. So that gives me good things to work on, like calculating which pawn to push quickly. I'd love to know if I could have pushed a different pawn here. So I thought it was here, knight, pawn, king would leave, like go this way to stop that pawn or even take the pawn, and I would take the knight. That's what I saw. But I think if I push here, then the king can just stop it. And I just didn't have time to think of that. So I think next time I'm just going to say I push the pawn check, and then the king would probably have to go like this, right? And then I can enter with the king. So I believe that's probably going to be the answer here and then here. Okay, well, in that case, now I push the pawn if the king doesn't want. I thought the king was going to go here to stop the pawn, in which case I queen this guy with the help of the king. But he chose this way, and so we queen the other guy. Same thing. Now we're going to go and switch modes. We're going to play a slower one, and we're going to play survival. And we're going to kick off, I believe it's season 10, right here, right now. We're going to do a slow puzzle. I don't have to move quickly. I'm going to take as much time as I want to observe the board. We're going to be very careful and calm and collected. And we're going to go through the procedure of calculating chess tactics if you don't see them right off the bat. So in this case, we have 3 pieces. The first thing you do is you count the material. We are even, so I basically just have to win a bishop, and it looks to me like I can just win a bishop. So then I say, is there any way for them to win a piece back? No. Let's go ahead and do it. Ta-da. That looks like a hanging queen to me. And if I take that, am I tricked? No, I'm not. Is there any way they can like come back in this game? No. We'll just take all their pawns. So we take that. And you can see we don't have to rush. Okay, back finally, a normal one. I've done enough of these now that basically the first 5 are always the back rank mates. So we're going to just do back rank mates for like 3 or 4 or 5. And then we're going to start the kissing queens. What's a kissing queen? It's when a queen stands on top of a king right next to him on the edge of the board. And that's mate. So this is a back rank formation. I see 3 pawns in a line with nobody on the back rank. It's an empty hallway. Hello, hello, hello. So we just find a rook or queen to put there. And then we mow down anything in the way. It's a back rank mower. Another back rank formation can occur when this piece is missing for white, but it's covered by a black piece. So we still have that back rank formation. So we just go onto the back row. Same thing. This is a version of Anastasia's mate. It's a little bit different. Usually the knight is here, and the king is here, and the pawn is here. So it usually happens on these squares. Like this, like this, like this, but instead we're here, here, and here. Same idea though. It's along a file instead of a rank. This one has all 3 pawns missing, but all 3 covered by a black piece. That's checkmate. That's a back rank mate. Okay. Now, as I promised you, we were going to start the kissing queens now. What's a kissing queen? That is when the queen is protected and stands on top of a king. Just like that. It's protected by the bishop. I would love to know your chess level so I can tailor these to your level. If you've seen enough of these by now with these runs with me and I've given you some tips, I'd love to know which ones they were so I can give you more content that you like. And, oh, did I say the like word? Does that mean you should go hit the like button? Is this a kissing queen and you like those so you want to go hit the like button? Go ahead. I'll be here all day. You're not going to miss anything. Scroll back down. Back to the video. Scroll down. And then hit the like button. And then hit subscribe if you like chess and you want to get better at Risk. You don't even have to play Risk. I'll show it to you for free. Queen. But wait, isn't that guarded? Yes, but we have a knight guarding that square. And so this is called an Arabian mate on account of this horse doing a lot of work, like an Arabian horse. It's kind of always annoyed me that people refer to knights as horses. Knights are people. They ride on a horse. They're people. You don't call this a crown, do you? So why are you calling the horse why are you calling the knight a horse? Are you calling this a crown? Okay, so anyway, looks to me like this is just one of those long distance checks. We've got a king blocked up by a lot of stuff. We only need to cover, and that's covered by the pawn. So we just need to cover this square and this square. This is a great tip that I use a lot to teach people how to find checkmates in the middle of the board, is find the open squares like this and like this. And now you notice they're connected diagonally. So we just need to figure out a way to put a piece on that diagonal anywhere. And it becomes instantly obvious that we want to do this. And it's almost mate, except for the queen, but don't worry about that. We'll take it. Ta-da. And that'll always work because the thing I just showed you connecting those lines like that. Because our king was guarding a square, that means anything that appears on that square can be captured. So it didn't matter if it was a rook or a knight, we would just take it. So same sort of thing here, right? And so that's the only escape, and so is that. But we have a good advantage here of being able to go like check. And if the king goes here, we actually have a second method. Instead of this rank mate coming down the line, we actually have another square we can go to. So I'll show you that in a second. But how you would do this, you just say, okay, these are the escape squares. And all three of them are in the same file. So you would think we would want to put a piece on the file. So what I first look at is check, king, queen is checkmate. And if king goes here, it's also checkmate. So what do we do with the only remaining square? We just switch and go the opposite direction. Now it's along the ranks. It would be mate next move. Okay. Let's see. What else can we do here? Also, it would have been rook over is also mate. So that's why the puzzle stops there. There were two solutions after that. Okay, another kissing queen example. There is nowhere for the king to go. Notice that all squares are going to be blocked off with one exception. Okay, I guess it's two exceptions. So there's the two flight squares, and they are all on a line. Is there any way that we can put a piece there? Yes, there is. Protected by the bishop. Same sort of pattern. Oh, look, a king can go here and here, right? Well, the king is here and can go this place. So we connect them with a line. Is there any way that we can get a piece on that diagonal? Yes, there is. Okay, where can the king go? Nowhere. So all we have to do is check it. And so we have two ways to do that, right? 1, 2. So the best thing to do in this situation, don't follow any sort of rule, is pick one. It's just pick one. Like, it's faster just to think them through. So I know which one I want, but I'll humor us and try to take this pawn. Check. What are all the legal moves? Queen goes here. Okay, is there any way to check the king? I could take the queen. But we counted the material and we realized that I'm already down a queen. So taking theirs doesn't win. So that's not a winning position. Okay, I will be down. Actually, it'll be even material, I think. So let's try the other one. Check. Knight is forced to block. It's the only legal move. Is there a check in the position? Yes, take it. And then what? Nothing. It's mate. So that's what we're going to do. And now notice that I got to play two moves very quickly. I mean, I could have moved those as quick as I wanted to, but this is what we do this for, so that we can see them super quickly. Well, the first thing we want to look at is, can we check in the back? No. And then so we want to check here. Now we can't. There's a rook there. So let's try this one. And then we say, okay, only legal move. Anytime you are checking the king and there's just one legal move, there's a really, really good chance you're on the right track. So probably just go a little farther. Check again. Only one legal move. Well, if that's two legal moves, that's got to be the right answer. And then we see, of course, we can go mate. There's a bishop here covering the square, so we cannot put a queen there. So we'll put the queen here instead. So check, check. And it's mate next move. Now, the thing about thinking through checkmates like that is that you can take all the time you need. Because if it's mate and you're correct, then you don't need to think about anything else. It's the end of the game. And you can play the mate like 1, 2, 3 in 3 seconds if you wanted to. So the king is stuck again. Notice that these are all covered by the rook or pawn. Okay. So we just need to attack the king. Is there a check in the position? Yes, there is. And it's a capture. So what are the legal moves? Well, it turns out this pawn can't interfere, the knight can't interfere, and the queen cannot either. So none of that works. The only legal move is pushing a pawn. Now, is there a check in the position? Yes, there is. There's 2. There's 3, actually. Queen, rook, and rook. And let's start with the queen. And if you take there, it's checkmate. Ta-da, we found the mate. Attacking with the rook would also lead to mate, but is unnecessary. And so we can go like this. So I think the other way, maybe there must be a way that the king can slip away, and then the other our opponent would have a chance to like check our king. So this one should be fairly simple. Can the king? Where can the king go? Nowhere. Locked up. Is there a check available? Yes, there is. And what would they do in return? Nothing. It's checkmate. The end. Easy. 16 puzzles. Moving nice and quick. Okay, a back rank bump is one that is necessary to know. We want to go to the back rank checkmate to get a kissing queen, right? But we can't because it's controlled 2 times. So what we do is we remove a defender, which is the king. We cannot remove the rook. So we will remove the king with a little bump. This is what I call a bump. You just basically check the king, and he has to leave control of the square. Now he's over here. So now we can go boom and boom. I think I can play those like in my sleep, you know. That's how well ingrained the pattern is and how well it has to be ingrained. Checkmate. Easy. So we've successfully climbed through the 1000s. And so for this one, you have to notice that there's just like a lot of firepower on that queen. I mean, it's our prize right in the middle of the board. So the first thing you do want to check, though, is the material count. Okay, we are even in material. We have 2 minor pieces and 2 rooks and a queen. So the next thing you want to check is, can I attack the king? No, it doesn't look like I can. But what that does is it cues you into the fact that, wait a minute, aren't I promoting a pawn to a queen? So we could start with that. Here, rook takes it. We've accomplished nothing. Okay, so what's next? How about if we can't attack the king, what if we attack the queen? So you can start looking at all of these, and then you finally see that, wait a minute, ta-da, there's a fork. If we hit the queen, where does it go? You never, ever stop a calculation on your own move. Because what if you attack the queen and you didn't realize the bishop was here? A black bishop was here, and now it's like, check, and you're in trouble. So let's instead say, where does the queen move? Well, you can't really go very many places at all. Everything is well protected. So I think that, it might slip here or it might slip here. Either way, I think we're taking a rook and we're up a rook. No matter what happens after that, we just have to see, are we losing a rook? No. Okay. It doesn't even matter if we're losing the bishop because material was even. So we would still be in a winning position. So right here, there's really nothing you can do to stop me. So the computer just gives up right away. I thought so, because anything is winning at that point. Okay, this is one of those complicated ones where it looks like there's just a ton of good moves, but it turns out you start ruling them out fairly quickly. So like, can I take the rook? No, there's a bishop protecting it. Oh, check. Oh, check. Oh, check here. And none of those are good. Check here, check here. None of those are good either. So the only one that really comes anywhere close to working is check. Now, this is a cool one. I love this formation. Here's why. When a knight is on a dark square, it attacks light squares. Well, in chess, usually, for most pieces, if you attack a piece on a square, that means that's where you go to next. So the knight would go to a light square. But then if it's on a light square, it attacks dark squares. So every move it switches what color it's on and what color it attacks. But the queen helps out with that because the queen moves on diagonals, and so they're constantly the same color. Dark, 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 dark square, dark square. Watch this. Knight is on a dark square, it guards a light square. Queen can go there, check. Then the knight, since the king is on a dark square, can be attacked. The knight can attack the king by moving to a light square. But then what does it attack? Dark squares, right? And oh, look who's waiting to go to that square. Dark square. And the geometry of the board works that this sort of leapfrogging of knight and queen just work beautifully. And it's such a pretty position. It's very geometric. So I love it. What are we going to do here? Okay, I actually have to think about this one. So yeah, roughly around 20 is where I have to actually like pay attention. 30 is where I start to actually have to think it through well. And then I think 40 is where we start to get some wrong. Usually. Not every time. Sometimes I slip up. It looks to me like I want to attack a king. So I'm thinking of going like this. The pawn is pinned, it cannot take. If the queen takes, rook takes. And then there's nothing you can really do about that. So what is my threat here? My threat is checkmate. So if the pawn pushes, then we have a classic empty castle. What's an empty castle? It's when you have pawns in a triangle, which we call the fianchetto formation, but no bishop in the middle, in that hole in the middle. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go here, 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 and then I'm going to just sneak around and mate. And I don't think there's anything white can do except give me a queen or like throw away the rook or something like that. So, and those are all silly. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go here. What else can happen? Well, the king can try to go here, but it's mate. And here, and it's still mate. And so they can move the rook away, and that's mate. And so this is a good practice. I think that I have checkmate. So I'm just going to take my time and see what can any piece do. If I go here, if the pawn moves, I go here, and it's going to be mate next move. If the king moves anywhere, it's mate on the square. If the rook moves anywhere, it's still mate right here. What can the bishop do? The bishop can go here, 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 or here, or here. All those are still mate. So you can give me a queen. I'll take it. And you can throw away your rook with check. I would take that, and then you will check. But then I would go right here, and your queen's attacked, and you're still being checkmated. So it looks good to me. Pawn push, pawn push, pawn push, pawn take. Doesn't matter. This one can't move at all. There you go. I've just calculated every legal move. If I showed a student this position and said, just calculate every move, they'd say, there's no way I could do that. And I think that took me like, 90 seconds, maybe? That's nothing. To checkmate, to end the game, 90 seconds, just do it. Calculate every move. I know you think you can't, but you can. So just do it. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. We can just move out of the way. That was my intention. If I block with the rook, they take it. So let's not do that. But if I go here, there aren't any more checks, and then we're still in the same position. So no problem. And there it is. There's the give me the queen. No problem. And you thought I couldn't do it, right? You thought I couldn't possibly calculate every move. There's no way. It's impossible. But I could. So I think I have checkmate here, except I'm going to win a queen instead on this square. So I'm fairly certain I'm going to win the queen, right? Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a Jacob's ladder mate. Again, I think it's a term I made up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go check. King has to go to one of these two squares. If it goes here, I go queen up, checkmate. Well, sorry, here and then checkmate. So this is a formation I love to talk about is, let's imagine a king is here and a rook is here. Okay. You go queen, king moves. You go rook to here, king moves. Queen, only legal move is king. Rook, king, and then the queen comes up, king moves, and then you go rook here, checkmate. And so basically, you're just continuing to push the king because notice he's trapped inside the king, the rook, and the queen. So the only thing he can do is this kind of sidestepping. So it's just like a ladder. You just leapfrog them up the board. So let's go like this. And now why I said I think I win a queen here is because we're going to go check. And then the only way to stave off mate is to put the queen there. And then I think I'm going to go check. But let me look at it real quick, right? Yeah, that's fine. Think so? Sure. Yeah. Told you. And then I don't think we need to worry about that. We're just going to play the only legal move, and we're going to take the rook. Okay. So no problem with that either. Cute. Take, take, take. King has to move, and we take back, and now we're up a piece. So pretty quick there. How do I find this one? I'm attacking the knight twice, and the knight is guarding the queen. So here's what we're going to say. This is a target. If you take the king, you win. So that's a target. The bishop is a target because it is undefended. If I attack it and it doesn't bother to answer my attack, I take it, I'm winning. The knight is a target because it is attacked twice and defended only once. And now we're going to follow Phoenix's rule of puzzle solving, which says if you attack something twice and it's defended only once, chances are that's the first move. You probably take it. So we're just going to take that heuristic, set it aside for a sec. We'll come back to it. Now, the queen attacked once and defended once. So it's a target because those are equal numbers. That's why. And finally, the rook is a target. So step 2. Find the target's lines that connect all the targets. And what I see is target, 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 target. So as those are connected on a diagonal, so chances are we want to deliver a piece to the diagonal. And so what do? We combine Phoenix's rule of 2 versus 1 with the fact that the targets are on a diagonal. And so we're just going to take. And so then what happens? Well, the queen is undefended. And this is why it was important I called it a target earlier. Do you remember when I said 1 and 1? So it's a target. Why? Well, because if we just take care of the knight, then the queen is hanging. That's why. We just need to add an attack or remove a defender. And so we're going to do that with this move. So the queen was hanging. That's why the queen has to take my queen. Has to. So I could take back and lose my bishop. But even better is these 2 targets on the diagonal. Didn't I tell you Phoenix's rule? If it's attacked once and defended none, right, you should probably take it. So it's either take this or take this. And a quick calculation says, let's attack the higher ranking piece. There you go. Ta-da. Simple. We just solve it with general rules, you know. We don't have to do anything really too special here or spectacular. So it looks like I'm going to go check here, fork. Why? How do I find that? Undefended, undefended, undefended. So how do we take advantage of this? Well, I would love to have attacked the king, but I don't have a dark square bishop or queen. So I want to use the knight. In fact, the first thing I looked at was actually this check. But my knight hangs, and I didn't see anything after that. So even material, by the way, step 0, count the material. So I go check. And I notice the king can't go to any of these squares. So my knight is safe. Can it go here? No, because of the rook, and it can't go here. So the only option is this. And then I found out that, hey, wait a sec, doesn't that line up the 2 targets? Target, target. What did I tell you? You found the 2 targets. Now connect them with a line. Okay, now make that line extra long. And there you go. That's how you find it. That's how you find the tactic. I'm just going to put a piece there now. Check. And now I guard my own knight. Isn't that fantastic? That's fun. I think it's fun. So what we're doing here is we're realizing we can't checkmate, so we have to promote a pawn. How do I promote the pawn? Well, there's a bishop there. And trading that off is actually not winning, I don't think. If I promote and they take and I take, can't they go here? And then I get behind it? Yeah, and I think my king is too slow to help out. Because here, take. Here, king back. They promote, and I'd have to take it. So much, much, much easier is to trade off the bishop and keep the queen. Don't trade off the queen to win the bishop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skewer. I'm going to take the bishop. That's throwing away a piece just to extend the game. That does nothing. Now, that is about to queen with check. So I think what I'm going to do is stop it. Because I think I want a queen and then they queen. That should be winning as well. Oh, no, because they'll queen and win the rook. Yeah. So the instinct was correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop that pawn. My first instinct was this, and I see that I can't do that. So I'm going to go the other way. We're just going to do that. Take that guy. There you go. Okay, 25. Let's go just a couple more, I think. Yeah. So we're going to go right here. I think we're just going to take that. And this is a classic pattern. I think you just got to know this one. Check, bishop blocks, you attack the pin piece. And then when this bishop moves out of the way in order to guard the bishop, I'll show you. This is attacked twice. This is the one thing you have to know is that this rook has to be undefended or this whole thing doesn't work. So we're not going to take the bishop. We're not going to take this bishop because there's a rook staring at us. So what we have to do is we have to get rid of that rook. And now we win. And in fact, was that mating? I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm not sure if this f-pawn could have moved. Yeah, I think it's mate, right? There's no prevention. Yeah. There was a pawn here. Right. So that was going to be a checkmate. So what can we do with this guy? Huh. I'm pinned? That doesn't seem very nice. Pinning my queen like that. So this is going to have something to do with counterplay against the king up here. So I'm thinking I want to do this. Take, 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 and I'm fine. Let's count the material. Material is even. We have 2 knights, 2 rooks, 2 bishops. and a queen and a king, two royal members of the family. So I think we're going to attack two things at the same time, one and two. Then when they take, I'm pretty sure we just do the same thing with the other pawn. And then they have to give us a piece. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm definitely not going to lose my queen. So this one seems pretty forced. I don't really think there's anything to explain or think about here. The lesson is don't lose your queen. Okay. Now, somewhat of a predicament, but not really. Because they're trying to save a piece by attacking the queen, but they left the other piece hanging. And here's the thing that I can actually just take the queen there. So let's see. Take a queen, take a queen, take a piece, and I've won the pieces. So yeah, pretty sure there's nothing they can do. There's no way for them to get the bishop back that I can't take it. Trebuchet. Love me a trebuchet. Is that working though? Oh, white's going up. I thought it was going to be take. I got my colors confused. I thought it was like take or something. Nope. Wrong pawns, wrong color. So what are we going to do here? I'm pretty sure I got to take this. And then the black king will take back. But then I push. And this is a cute thing to know is that when your king is close to their pawn and your king is close to their pawn, but their king is close to your pawn. What you do is you just wait to see where they spend their move, and then you spend a move on the same area of the board. So what they do is if they push this pawn, I spend the move on my king. So if they go here, I go here. And otherwise, I push my pawn. Now, if their king were further away, it would be like if they come close to my pawn, I push it. And then they come close to my pawn, I push again. Something like that. But if they push their pawn, I use my king. So that's the idea. And so that's the calculation. That's how you go through it. I hope that was clear and helpful. If it wasn't, leave me a comment and I will explain it further. So right here, they spent a move on their king. So I'm going to spend a move on my pawn. They spent a move on their pawn. So I'm going to spend a move on my king because these two go together. These two guys belong together. Whereas the black king and the white pawn, those two are fighting together in their own like separate universe. So there we go. They spent a move on their pawn. So I spend a move on that same area of the board. They spent a move trying to come to my pawn. So I have to spend a move on my pawn. And there we are. Very simple stuff. Really? That's a cute one. Is it check, take, knight, king, and then we go here or something like that? And then if they block, I go here. Here check. And then if they go here, we like take stuff. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Finally something to think about. Okay. So let's see. If we go here, they take it. Can't go here, can't go here. So let's start looking at targets. The king is a target because king is always a target. Queen is a target. It's undefended. Bishop is a target. It's undefended. And in fact, it's attacked once. So Phoenix's rule says take it. For some reason, I don't think that's actually the move here. It could be. Actually, yeah, it really could be. Is it knight? It's amazing how often Phoenix's rule comes up. Like, if you can take it, take it. So, here, because the king takes and the bishop here. So anyway, back to targets here, here, and here. The bishop is hanging, and so is the rook. So almost everything. So now we want to connect them on lines. I like this line. I like this line. I like this line. So in fact, I'm now looking at check. Because I'm not sure what happens after that. Because your king could take my knight, but this is checkmate. So, yeah, it looks like it's not going to be a take. Technically, this isn't Phoenix's rule because it is defended. So, but usually I like to say if a king is forced to take, then it's like kind of applies. So I do think it's this skewering all the way to the white bishop. So if the king goes here, we go here, right? Even in fact, it's also mate this way. everything is checkmate, which is kind of my favorite. So the knight is untakeable. So the king can't go here, can't go here, it can't go here. Those are all illegal. If it goes here, we just go like this. So I'm pretty sure either of these two squares, we go like this. That certainly looks winning to me. King will go here, we go here, and then we go here, checkmate. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is mate. A little round ring around the rosy, right? Pretty cute. How the queen just kind of dances around in a triangle. And if it goes this way, then we just go checkmate, and that's checkmate right away. How do I know that? Because I have this pawn guarding, so I know this is a kind of swallowtail mate. So got into the patterns. I think I'm going to play it. It was correct. Who knew? Yeah, and then check and mate. So that's fun. Oh, cool. Discover check, right? But is that the end of the story? Huh. Check, king here. What do we have? I mean, I guess I could take the rook and then it takes and I go check. That doesn't make any sense. I think it's going to be our last puzzle. If you haven't liked the video, please do go like it. Gets a lot more traffic that way. The videos get spread to more people. We grow the channel. We learn a lot more as a community. I'm thinking of doing game analysis. If people have games they want analyzed, I'm thinking of doing that. So definitely let me know if that's something you're interested in. Send me the game. Leave it as a PGN in the comment. So how about we go check king, and then I want to win this bishop here. What I want to do. So I also have that. Oh, sorry, that ability to win the bishop. Let's see here. So if it's here, check. I mean, that's the clear move. It has to defend the rook. We could trade the rook and go check, but then the bishop blocks, and if we take that, that's nothing. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be check, king here, and then we have to do something other than trade rooks, obviously, because this is a puzzle. So you got to do something fancy. So it looks like we're probably just going to pin it. And then I'm wondering what happens if it gets defended this way, because that would mean that, yeah, I guess that's okay. I'll just go back, right? Yeah. Because I was going to say it would mean that if I were to attack their bishop, they would take my bishop. So no, I think that's the trick, is I just go back again. Yeah. Now I pin it. Yeah, that was the trick. Basically, I just find this by saying, oh, okay, that was an undefended piece. Now it's defended once, so it is a target. So I thought I was going to go like this until I saw this defense that doesn't work. I was just intending to attack the pinned piece. Usually when you pin it, they can defend it with a pawn or something like that. And then they're like, ha, now rook can't take bishop, or I take your rook. But you really have to watch out for the very, very common tactic of, okay, well, I'll take it with a pawn then. And since it's pinned, it's not going anywhere. I'll just take it next move. So those are the common ones. And then if you're interested in that, when the pawn comes up, oftentimes like somebody can put a queen here and pin it to your own king. So the lines continue. But I'm pretty sure I'm just going to attack this with a bishop because mine is attacked. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? They're like, well, we can't let you take this. So you have to do this. And now that it is unpinned, now is the time we must take. And I'm pretty sure I want to take with the pawn, because why would I want to give up my bishop? I would not. Let's take this way. We did it, everybody. Okay, that's 30. I think we're going to take a look at this one next time. But, oh, do I have to? Isn't it just mate? Isn't it? This always happens on like, I try to get to 30 and I'm like, okay, signing off now. Oh, it's mate. And then I continue. So you saw me do, what was it, 24, 25 or something in 3 minutes. And now you saw me do 30 in 30 minutes. This goes to show you that you can think these things through fast or slow. By doing the slow ones, you learn to do the other ones quickly. If my eyes were a little bit faster and my mouse skills were a little faster, we could probably get into the 30s as well. But, you know, I love doing these things. I love doing chess tactics and solving puzzles. So I think we are, in fact, going to just go ahead and checkmate black here. Because why wouldn't we? That was fun. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked this. If you did, if you want to see more of this, let me know in a comment. If you want to see your game analysis, leave me the game in a comment. We can talk about it next episode. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and just keep on mowing these down. 32 now in 40 minutes, actually 37, 36 in actually doing this. So I am Phoenix. I had fun. I hope you had fun. I'll see you for the next episode.